Alex Thompson stood in his modest Seattle apartment, leaning against the kitchen counter as the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air. He glanced at the clock on the wall. It was 7:30 a.m., and his fiancée, Emily, was still in the bedroom. They had planned to share breakfast together before she headed out to her first client meeting at her new job with a prestigious downtown marketing firm. "Emily, your coffee's getting cold," Alex called out, his voice carrying a faint edge of impatience. "Coming." Emily's voice echoed from the bedroom. Moments later, she appeared, her blonde hair pulled back into a sleek ponytail, her blue eyes sparkling. She wore a crisp white blouse Alex hadn't seen before, its immaculate fabric sharply contrasting with her tan skin, giving her a polished, professional look. Alex couldn't help but smile as he handed her a coffee mug. Their fingers brushed briefly, a fleeting, intimate connection. "Don't you look amazing today?" he said warmly. Emily accepted the mug with a soft smile. "Thanks. First client meeting today. Got to make a good impression." "You'll knock them dead," Alex assured her confidently. They sat together at their small kitchen table, sunlight streaming through the window and illuminating the cozy space. Outside, the city buzzed with life. The distant wail of sirens, the hum of traffic, and the chirping of birds daring to inhabit the urban sprawl. "Any plans after work?" Alex asked casually, sipping his coffee. Emily hesitated for a split second before replying. "Oh, some of the team might grab drinks, networking, you know." Alex nodded. "Sounds fun. Just don't stay out too late. We've still got that movie marathon planned." "I wouldn't miss it," Emily promised with a smile, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. 6 months had passed since Emily started her dream job, and Alex had been her biggest cheerleader, celebrating every milestone in her career. Together for over a decade, high school sweethearts, they had faced every challenge as a team. But lately, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something was different. Emily seemed distant, her focus elsewhere. She began staying out late more often, citing work events. Occasionally, she didn't come home at all, claiming she had stayed at her sister Sarah's to avoid a long commute. The growing distance gnawed at Alex, but he tried to suppress his unease. One evening, as Alex tidied up the living room, his phone buzzed with a message from Jake, a friend from the gym. "Hey man, haven't seen you around lately. Been busy?" "Yeah, might swing by tomorrow," Alex replied, glancing at the framed photo on the shelf. It was a picture of him and Emily at Cannon Beach, arms wrapped around each other, the endless ocean stretching behind them, a cherished memory from happier times. His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of keys jingling at the door. Emily entered, her cheeks flushed, her energy subdued. "Hey," Alex greeted her. "How was work?" "Long day," she sighed, slipping off her heels. "I think I'll head to bed early." "Everything okay?" he asked, concern creeping into his voice. "Just tired," she replied with a weak smile. "Client meetings are draining." Alex watched her retreat to the bedroom, a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. A few weeks later, over dinner, Emily mentioned an upcoming weekend trip with her coworkers. "We're heading to Ocean Shores for a team-building retreat," she explained casually. "That sounds exciting," Alex said, doing his best to sound enthusiastic. "Maybe we could plan our own trip soon?" "Definitely," she nodded, quickly changing the subject. As the weekend approached, Alex couldn't shake his growing unease. He helped Emily pack, tossing a bottle of sunscreen into her suitcase. "Don't forget this," he teased. "Thanks, Mom," she replied with a playful peck on his cheek. "Very funny," he chuckled. "Have fun. Call me if you need anything." The weekend was unusually quiet for Alex. He kept busy with chores, caught up with friends, and even attempted a new recipe, which ended disastrously. He texted Emily a few times but received only short, delayed responses. When she returned Sunday evening, she looked drained. "How was the retreat?" Alex asked. "Productive," she replied curtly. "I'm exhausted. Do you mind if we catch up tomorrow?" "Sure," Alex said softly, watching her disappear into the bedroom. That night, as he lay in bed, doubts gnawed at him. Something wasn't right. 2 days later, during dinner, Emily cleared her throat. "Alex, we need to talk," she said, avoiding his gaze. A chill ran through him. Okay. I think we should take a break, she said softly. Alex froze.
What?
Where's this coming from? Is there someone else? Emily hesitated before shaking her head.
No.
I need space to figure things out. Though devastated, Alex agreed, hoping the distance would help. Emily moved out temporarily, but they eventually tried couples counseling. For a while, things improved, and Emily moved back in. Then one evening, she came home beaming. Guess what? She exclaimed.
What?
Alex asked, his curiosity piqued. I'm pregnant. Joy and excitement flooded Alex. They had been trying for a baby, and the news filled their lives with hope. But as they planned for the future, doctor's appointments, nursery designs, baby names, a nagging doubt lingered in Alex's mind. One night, he finally voiced it. Emily, would you be okay if we did a paternity test? Emily froze, her expression stricken. Why would you ask that? I don't know, Alex stammered. With everything that's happened, I think it might put my mind at ease. Tears welled in Emily's eyes, but she said nothing. Their relationship began to fray again. One evening, during a tense conversation, Alex tried to reassure her. It's not that I don't trust you. If you loved me, you wouldn't need a test. Emily snapped, storming out of the room. The next morning, Emily was unusually quiet. Finally, she admitted, I've been hiding something. Her voice was barely audible. What is it? Alex asked, dreading the answer. Tears streamed down her face as she confessed, I cheated on you during the beach trip. I met someone. Mark. It happened, and I'm so sorry. She hesitated before adding, I think the baby might be his. The betrayal hit Alex like a punch to the gut. He stood abruptly, pacing the room. How could you do this? He demanded, his voice raw with pain. I don't have an excuse, Emily sobbed. It was a mistake, a terrible mistake. I swear. Alex's voice cracked with anger. You lied to me. You made me believe we were rebuilding. And all along. I'm sorry, Emily repeated, her voice breaking. Grabbing his keys, Alex walked out, leaving behind the shattered pieces of their relationship. Alex headed for the door, his voice firm but trembling. I need to get out of here. Please don't go, Emily pleaded desperately. We can work through this. But Alex shook his head, tears welling in his eyes. I don't see how. Trust is shattered. Alex moved back in with his parents, his world in shambles. Days blurred together as he struggled to process Emily's betrayal. She tried reaching out repeatedly, calling and texting, but Alex ignored every attempt. One afternoon, as Alex sat in his childhood home, there was an unexpected knock at the door. It was Emily, standing on his parents' doorstep, her eyes red and swollen. Alex, she begged, her voice breaking. Please talk to me. Reluctantly, Alex stepped outside and closed the door behind him. What do you want? He asked coldly. I've scheduled an appointment, she said quietly. For an abortion. I thought you should know. Alex was taken aback. Why are you telling me this? Because I don't want to hide anything anymore, Emily explained, her voice trembling. Mark doesn't want the baby and I can't do this alone. Despite the anger and pain still burning inside him, Alex couldn't deny that he cared for her on some level. After a moment of hesitation, he offered, I'll drive you. The drive to the clinic was silent, the tension between them nearly unbearable. After the procedure, Alex brought her back to their apartment. Thank you, she murmured as they reached the door. He nodded, unsure of what to say. Can we talk inside? She asked hesitantly. Alex hesitated, but eventually agreed. They sat on opposite ends of the couch, the emotional distance between them even greater than the physical space. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, Emily began, her voice shaking. But I want to try to make things right. Alex looked at her, his expression softening slightly. Emily, he said, his voice heavy with sadness, I need time. You broke my trust in the worst possible way. I understand, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. They sat in silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily between them. In the weeks that followed, Alex focused on moving forward. He coordinated times to collect his belongings from their apartment, ensuring Emily wouldn't be there. While packing, he stumbled across a hidden stash of letters in her nightstand. Curiosity got the better of him, and he began to read. The letters detailed her affair with Mark, her fleeting plans to leave Alex, her doubts about staying with him, and Mark's ultimate rejection when he learned of the pregnancy. Anger flared within Alex. Not only had Emily betrayed him, but she had also seriously considered abandoning him without a word. He left the apartment without looking back, leaving his key on the counter. Back at his parents' house, Alex made a decision. It was time to sever all ties with Emily. He blocked her number, deleted their photos, and removed every trace of her from his life. One evening, his friend Jake stopped by with a six-pack of beer. "Thought you could use some company," Jake said with a supportive smile. "Thanks," Alex replied, managing a weak smile in return. As they sat on the porch, Jake reminisced about old times. "Remember that hike where we got lost? We thought we were going to starve barefoot in the wilderness." Alex chuckled, the memory momentarily lifting his spirits. "How could I forget?" Jake patted him on the back. "You're going to get through this, man." Alex nodded, his resolve strengthening. "It's just going to take time." Months passed, and Alex began to rediscover himself. He threw himself into work, picked up old hobbies like hiking and photography, and started volunteering at a local animal shelter. One day, while grabbing coffee at his favorite cafe, he accidentally bumped into someone. "Sorry," they both said at the same time, then laughed. Alex looked up and met her warm hazel eyes, which crinkled at the corners when she smiled. "I'm Lily," she said, extending a hand. "Alex," he replied, smiling back. They chatted briefly and discovered a shared love for the outdoors. "Maybe I'll see you on the trail sometime," she suggested with a grin. "Looking forward to it," Alex replied, his grin widening. That evening, Alex felt lighter than he had in a long time. Sitting on his parents' balcony with his guitar, he strummed a familiar tune, the notes floating into the night sky. His phone buzzed with a message from Emily. Asterisk, "I heard about the volunteering. I'm glad you're doing well. Take care, asterisk." Alex stared at the message for a moment before deleting it. Looking out at the city lights, he took a deep breath. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it felt full of promise. "To new beginnings," he whispered, picking up his guitar again. The melody he played carried him forward into the possibilities of tomorrow.